the 4 days last week, Kentucky and at Missouri, heartbreaking losses. We thought maybe with those 2 wins, you could get a chance to get yourself kind of in the breath back in the picture, of NCAA tournament talk, 2 tough losses, chances to win both games. So now you got to kind of redirect and, an Alabama team that's 2 games ahead of us. So it's a big game, kind of in this jockeying for buys, wherever level you're trying to be, where you're trying to get, to win the SEC championship. So there's still a lot of big games left. Still feel like our team is, is playing at a level we can beat anybody in our league. But we just haven't, in the 5 games that we've lost, went back and looked at the last 5 minutes of all 5 games and trying to find some reoccurring things of why we hadn't been able to close those games out. And so stopping dribble penetration late, maybe us settling late and not driving the ball to the rim. Obviously, anytime you lose some of those games, probably some untimed, unforced turnovers. So we're right. We just got to keep our head up and keep playing and against an explosive Alabama team tomorrow.
Do you think, Kermit, that stopping the penetration and choosing not to penetrate, is this a product of minutes for Brian and Devontae?
I don't think so. I just think there's guys all around the country that are playing minutes, and just whether it's LSU or whether it was Auburn or whether it was Kentucky, it was just the other night just keeping people out of the paint and then us maybe settling at the end, and not driving the ball and trying to get fouled. And so, just kind of 2 things that really stuck in our mind. I don't think fatigue has anything to do with that.
You've been talking all year about recruiting and evaluation of this roster, developing and all that stuff. But over the next 2 weeks, those guys that are coming back or that want to come back, what do they have to show you if maybe they're not getting a lot of minutes and you don't know if they're part of it next year or not?
Yeah, I just think this. Everybody in our locker room right now just together and because you think about it. I told our team, we're all disappointed, but if maybe you get E.J. Montgomery made an unbelievable 50-50 play, drove on the floor, got it to Maxey went in, Dream made a great verticality play. I said, it's our possession. KJ and Dream, you just pounce on it. 99% of the time, that's a jump ball, our ball, up 1. Maybe that one, and maybe Brian's shot goes in. Maybe 2 plays away. You know what people say, you're the hottest team in the SEC. So the locker room is together. The guys continue to practice well. It's just, like I said, it's a difference between where we are and then 3rd or 4th and then being an NCAA tournament team right now. So, we will evaluate everything at the end of the year. Those guys are working hard and, and still you never know what may evolve with who's going to get chances to play in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year.
But adding toughness is something you've talked about. What is that for you? Where do you see that as the area?
Well, it's a physicality of being able to guard the ball. Obviously we miss Luis in those kind of settings. Toughness. You got to have basketball IQ at the end of games, and that's a part of the equation of toughness. Sometimes that gets overlooked, and then we've got to have some of these guys make some progress like everybody does. So it's not only just it's player development, team development, recruiting. There's a lot of things that go into that, even into the last 2 or 3 weeks. Met with Brian today. Who knows what's in store? We may have some of the most exciting times we've ever had in our life over the next 3 weeks. It's March Madness. You just got to keep plugging along, keep playing, and we all know in this room that the conference tournament is going to be an unbelievable ride. It's going to be some unbelievable games, in those 4 or 5 days.
Along those lines, Kermit, obviously there's no dominant team in the league. There's a couple of teams in the league that appear to be a little bit better than some other teams, but there's no prohibitive favorite for that thing. How important is it to get out of Wednesday and not play until Thursday, especially given how you guys aren't the deepest club?
Yeah. Trying to go and making a deep run, I think that obviously anytime you can get a bye is very good, So I don't think, anything's out of realm of possibility, but no doubt. If you do that, that means you're probably playing well at the end of the year too. You've won some games down the stretch, and so we've got 3 of them at home and 2 on the road, and starting tomorrow, you got 14 days left, in the regular season. I just think anytime you can get a bye or a second round bye in the quarterfinals, wherever you may get, there's no question, if you get to that first round game, it helps you.
Saw Luis getting up some shots out there. How long has he been back on the floor doing that?
Yeah, he's probably about 4 or 5 days. He's limited to non-contact right now. We're going to try to next week. Andrew told me today, our trainer, that maybe get him out in the mix of some contact. Right now it's right at 12 weeks, which we thought. They were very conservative, but the injury looks great. He's worked really, really hard. Like a lot of guys, they're a little hesitant first coming back, but he's starting to. So it's probably 2 or 3 days he's been out there, and we'll look forward to hopefully maybe getting some contact in the next couple of weeks.
As far as Brian expanding his game, you've talked about defense with him for so long. Do you think he's taken a step this year as far as his defensive ability?
He's gotten better. He's not where he needs to be. He has gotten better. His assist turnover in SEC play, is 22 to 29, I think. So I think that part's got to keep getting better. You can still evolve as a player in the last 2 or 3 weeks of your college career. I mean, it's never too late. So he's had an unbelievable senior season. But yeah, I mean, just to be a more diligent defender late games. That's what I said. I mean, veteran guards, Schuler and Bree and Tyree, just close games out at the end of games, and so I hope that's something that they'll be able to do over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
You guys, just following up on what Parrish asked, you're not revisiting the idea of playing Luis later?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all. He's just gonna. But it's good to say he'll be back, with contact, and he's playing, and like I said, all the X-rays look really good, and his weight is good, about 210, 211, and so. But I mean, I'd like just to get him some practices, and team practices if he could for a couple weeks.